Welcome to Is It Really Worth It podcast. We're here this morning in Far Cotton Boxing Club, Northampton. We're going to be podcasting the head coach and the main man of the gym this morning. I'd just like to start by thanking our sponsors, S&D Paving, Semi-Long Services. Everything you do for us is appreciated and we're really, really grateful. So, welcome this morning, John Joseph Daly. How are you, mate?
Yeah, spot on, Sean, yeah.
John, let's start at the beginning. When were you born?
1958.
Where?
Northampton General Hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was born there, 1958, as I just said, and born in Northampton General, and as you know, I'm 67 now.
Yeah.
And I just love every, just glad I was born really in Northampton, spot on.
You're a Northampton child?
Yes, definitely, yeah.
Family, John, big family, small family?
Yeah, big family. My mum and dad, we did that, we got 8 in the family, or we did have. We got 4 sisters, 3 brothers, and we had bad news like years ago, and with my younger brother my older brother Mick, when he was 33, died of a brain hemorrhage, and then.
And how old were you when Mick passed?
Probably 24, 25. Yeah, and he was 33 when he passed away. Bless him, as a brain hemorrhage, and he was a smashing lad himself, you know. And then a few years later, my sister, she was 39. And she died of the same thing, a brain hemorrhage, and she was 39. So that was very bad when Pat went. So that was the 2 of them who died of brain hemorrhages, and then all the rest of the family, we all had to go down and go to Oxford for a scan and everything to see, and if we'd got anything wrong with us. And Lucille had it, but she was operated on, so she did get the brain hemorrhage. So, but to lose 2 like that, it was awful.
Yeah.
And then my brother, Kevin, my younger brother, he died of a cancer. He was 46, Kevin.
Knew Kevin personally, worked with him.
Yeah.
A lot. Great kid.
Great. And that's, like you said, Sean, a great kid, and I think that's what everybody says about Kev. Not only because he was always smiling and laughing, he was a good worker, but he was a good singer, and people like that you do miss.
Yeah.
And old Kev, everybody missed Kev.
He used to sing a great song on the machine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant lad.
Yeah.
So Irish family.
Yeah. So can I just go on to Martin, just a quick one on Martin then. Martin, he was 62 when he died. Not so long ago. Probably it's been. When I say probably, it's 2 years ago now, Martin. And he was another character, very sadly missed by everybody in Northampton. Again, his singing, his sense of humour and everything. So he's
but Martin, one of the most well-mannered lads.
Yeah.
But a testament to your parents, John.
Yeah.
Irish family.
Yeah. My dad, my mum was English, but my dad's Irish, from Glenamaddy in Ireland. My dad, and my dad's still here now. He's 95. And he's still in the same house where he was all brought up in Queen Anne Road, Farcon.
Your dad, if I remember rightly, was probably one of the last cable crane drivers.
Yeah, could have been. When I say could have been, he was always, his cranes, like you say, Sean, crane driving all his life.
Yeah.
And I remember the Saxon Hotel being built, and he was on the big crane there. It was the Saxon at the time, but. He's always been on the cranes. He's worked all his life, and that, the cranes was his life.
And he worked for EastEnders?
Yeah, definitely.
I remember him telling me.
Yeah.
I remember him telling me that. Yeah.
And he's, as I said, he's still trying to be lively now at 95. He's poorly. When I say poorly, as long as he's eating, and he's still the same. He's one of the blokes. Every time you go into his house, he always wants you to be nice and sharp. When he come in with his jumping up, but now we're just sitting down. He can't walk at the moment, so we just got to, but fair play to him. He's still fighting.
Still in there. Well,
Yeah.
they say Ireland's best export is its people.
Yeah.
Your dad's definitely one of them.
Definitely, yeah. He's one of the old school, Sean, ain't he?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of lovely people who's been about at the town centre, and a lot of them are not here now. So Dad's one of the older, the ones who's left. But it's such a shame, that he's still here fighting.
So school, John. How was your schooling?
Yeah, school. I liked school. I was always very, once I finished school, if I was at school, I'd go home. I'd make sure all my clothes were tidy when I got home. I know it's nothing to do with the schoolwork, but I was a very tidy person, and I loved playing football. For every school I went to, I was in the school team at football. Just loved football.
So football was your first sport?
Yeah, first sport. Yeah, I love football. I'd pay to play football. If you had to pay subs, I'd be there first with the subs. I loved it. I was in the school team, every school team. Played number 11 on the wing all the time. Played for Mearway, Daly, and especially Daly. That was my the school I went to, and I played football all the time. I was always, as I said, in the school team. I remember playing with Adam Sandys, and he went on to play for the Cobblers then, Northampton Town. And but I was in midfield with him. I'll always remember that, and I was just mad on it. And why I didn't carry on like Adam did was that I started the boxing. But school was, I really enjoyed school, and
it's the best years of our lives, and we don't know it at the
we
time,
don't know it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Oh God, I wish I could go back to school, start all over again.
Yeah.
It'd be nice. So boxing. Why the transition from football at a good level to boxing?
Yeah. When I was 10, I'll always remember my dad got me into boxing. I know where to go for boxing, just to look after myself, not to box, but look after myself in time. It's called the Shades at Bridge Street, and above the Shades there was a big heavyweight from Northampton, a top man named John Cullen, and he was on the punch bags there. And Winston Hughes was a very good man, top man in Northampton in his boxing, and my dad knew Winston, so he got me up there as a 10-year-old, and I remember all the time boxing in just pants, not shorts, just shadow boxing and that, and I loved it from then on. I'll always remember John Cullen hitting the punch bags, and and I'll always remember the big poster up, and he used to box a man named Joe Cassidy, and he boxed him probably about 5 times. And he boxed at the Drill Hall in Northampton. Yeah. I never did watch it, but I just remember, and I just got into it. I could see John hitting the punch bag, and he missed the bag once, and he went through the plasterboard with his hand, and he was trying to push it back down like that,
That'd be big John.
And then he just, and he took, and then he just carried on. But these little things, I'll never forget them.
Well, the names you just mentioned there, Winston Hughes, John Cullen, they were real characters and probably the founders of boxing in Northampton.
Defo.
Great men with absolutely just amazing gifts of giving. John sadly passed away now, but I think John was the only one ever to knock Joe Bugner out, wasn't he?
Yeah, in his amateur days. I know he knocked Joe Bugner out twice in his amateur days, and it's all right, and everybody, I think he boxed for Keystone Amateur Boxing Club then, from Ketchum, But as I said, that was a big thing, because Joe Bugner's a big name in boxing, especially when he turned pro.
One of the best.
Fought Ali Frazier.
Yeah, one of the best on-paper records of heavyweights in that era.
Yeah. And John done all the business with him, and, good pro, John. One of the nicest men you'd know in boxing, or even out of boxing, John Cullen.
Yeah.
What a man. Sadly missed.
What a left hook.
Yeah, beautiful left hook, yeah. I see some good sparring with John Cullen and John Cox and Joe Falcon.
Yeah.
Good there in St Patrick's Club. I'd watch sparring there. I'd spar myself and do the business there, done my training, and when I watched them, it's lovely to watch them, because they just had a war for 6 rounds.
Yeah.
Where you teach boxing now how to box, they just had a war, but it was a good war.
Yeah, they were great times. And St Patrick's Hall, I ain't heard that mentioned in years.
Yeah, that's right beside, isn't it? The Cathedral Club.
Yeah.
And I think that's where my dad met them, at that club.
Well, they used to have the dances there, didn't they?
Dances there, yeah. And that's where we trained. We put the ring up there and put a couple of punch bags up there. Jim Wellard then was looking after everybody. And I'll have to mention John Cox.
Yeah.
Great sparring with John and, as I said, with John Cullen and John Cox. Falcon, yeah. Falcon used to box. When I went in the ring, I was only a young little lad, like boxing, China, 18 years of age. And I sparred with Joe Falcon, and he was biting me here, biting me. I said, what are you? Jim, he's biting me here. And old Joe, he said, that's what they do in boxing. But that's the olden days, Joe, not now.
Yeah.
But yeah. Good.
Joe, and Joe went on to be a doorman, didn't he, for a long time in Northampton.
Yeah.
Market Harbour, was it?
Yeah, from Market Harbour.
Yeah.
Joe Falcon, one of the him and John Cullen, one of the best, again, I shouldn't be sacked, but I used to go to nightclubs, which probably I shouldn't have done when I was boxing, but I was probably having a little time out. But Joe Falcon and John Cullen were the best two doormen, and you know why? Because they weren't bullies, they were just nice people, and if he was causing trouble, they'd talk to you nicely, and then if you went on and again, they would just throw you out.
Yeah.
They weren't stood there with their shoulders back. They were good, very good men. They talked to everybody, and people sadly missed the both of them.
I don't think we will see doormen like that ever again.
No, definitely not. No.
Ever again.
No, because they spoke to you nice, Sean, didn't they? They spoke, when you went in, they spoke to you, and if you was going to cause, don't you cause no little trouble, and they spoke nicely to you.
They had nothing to prove. They were great fighters. They had nothing to prove, John.
No.
And this is what a lot of the modern, whatever you call them, modern day doormen, they've all got something to prove, and they want to.
Yeah.
But them boys back then, they were proper fighters. They didn't have to prove anything. So what was your first club then, John? Your first amateur club?
It was Northampton Amateur Boxing Club. Again, they're still going now, Northampton ABC, still going. But it was the drill. That's where we trained, in the drill. See, again, a lot of people don't know. They don't know about the boxing nowadays. But the drill, we used to train there 3 nights a week. Probably on a Sunday morning, I don't know, but I know it's 3 nights. I used to box at the drill hall. They had amateur boxing club. Probably people don't know that.
Well, back in the day, the drill hall was the mecca of boxing in Northampton, really.
Yeah.
Clare Street, the Army Cadet place.
Yeah, that's it.
Beautiful building.
Yeah.
Lovely building.
Yeah. Plimp Soles. I remember I was 10 or 11, boxing there with the blue vest and shorts. The colours of Northampton ABC.
Yeah.
And Plimp Soles. I was playing Plimp Soles. I couldn't afford boots, and it was Plimp Soles. And I remember I've got a photo now here and at this club. Now, if one of my boxers had their feet up in the air, I'd go up the wall. And I remember throwing a jab, and I've got the photo with me one of my foot in the air, and little things like that. I thought, I don't want to show anybody that, because that's what you shouldn't be doing. Yeah. Having your feet off the floor, when you're throwing a punch. But but that's where it was, the drills. Started there, and I would never, I didn't go nowhere else. I just wanted to be there under the likes of Roy Reynolds was the coach then.
That's right.
Roy, absolutely nice one. Loads of good people about there. John Morris, I think, was the secretary.
Yeah.
I say.
John went on to become Secretary of the Border Control.
Yeah, that's true. True. Yeah, went into big things. But my hero then, again, was Danny Kemp. There was Danny. I'd would train with Danny all the time, and Danny loved him. Used to jump the ropes, so used to jump the top rope, jump in the ring, and at them time we had the white fleck. You had to put your boots on so you don't slip on the ring, and then bang, and then that'd go all over the supporters. But his boxing, he was a right little warrior, and he was my little hero. And old Danny had a lot of fights, and again he's not here to, he's passed away, but that was my first club, and my last, I just carried on.
How many amateurs did you have there, John?
I had loads of, probably 80 odd fights.
Yeah,
probably into 100, I'm saying that, but I was nearly fighting every week, every 2 weeks.
And some weeks twice.
Yeah, and people, you're boxing, and you just boxing, that was it. You tell your mum and dad you're boxing, and that's it. You just got in the ring, and you was going wherever, Coventry, Birmingham, look, whatever you were doing, you're boxing.
Yeah.
It's not like that nowadays. I'd box every night.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's all different now. I could talk all day about how different it is,
Yeah.
and it's very. It's not more liking. I'm old school, and if you don't really want it, don't come into boxing.
Yeah,
But I
it's-
wanted it, like yourself. You know, I wanted it. You got stuck in. The only bad habits I did get is when I did fight any time, especially as a pro, just I like a few weeks off, which is no good. If I went out the weekend and had 1 point, you know, one would go into 5 and 6
Yeah.
and 7, and in boxing you can't do that
No.
if you want to get anywhere.
That's right, I was very guilty. That was-
Yeah,
But that was the generation back
that's
then.
right.
You know,
yeah,
the
yeah.
knowledge back then weren't as good as it is now, and if we could only turn the clock back.
Yeah,
But it's made us who we are, John.
yeah, defo,
You know, it's
defo.
gave us hope, really. The amateurs give you a lot of insight into what could happen if you do go pro.
Yeah,
And it takes a big decision for anybody to go pro. You
Yeah.
know, it's a big step up.
yeah, yeah.
So while you was amateur, supported great by your family,
Yeah.
great support of your friends, what made you want to turn pro?
When I was 18, and I remember, you know, I was probably too young, but a professional would be nice to turn professional, wouldn't it? Be nice to turn professional. I'm a forward boxer. I just wanted to sort of, not try, I just wanted to get stuck in. I wanted to be a professional. I know for professional footballers, if they want to be, you know, they're playing football, they turn professional and they're good enough to turn pro. That's lovely. Playing, you know, the footballers do it. But to be pro, I knew you had to train harder,
Yeah.
and I love training. I knew you had to be tougher, you know. I just wanted to get somewhere in the pro game, and I wanted to win probably every fight. You know, I wanted to win, and I wanted to train hard, and even sparring, I wanted to win in sparring. So to be a professional fighter, it was just nice to be professional, and that's how, you know, and my family were behind me. A lot of people was behind me, and I know Northampton, because I never went, you know, they all knew I was training, and I knew I'd get support from them. If I had any fights, they'd be all there with me
Yeah.
and following me about. And I just wanted to get somewhere in boxing.
So, what year did you turn pro?
Now you're gonna, I don't know what year it was, Sean, for God's sake. But I was 18. I was 18 years of age, probably too young. I remember John Morris again writing, because he'd done all the writing in the Chronic and Echo, and he said John is probably too young to be professional, but good luck to him. And now I just remember George Ingram. He was a big promoter from Northampton. You know, loved it. And of course, loved it to have me to be going pro. He knew my dad. He knew everybody in boxing. He just loved, and because he was a promoter, him and Reg Young, and he had shows down at Caesar's Palace in Luton.
Yeah.
And of course, he knew I went pro, and he was building me up, old George, and he put on young John Daly instead of John Daly. It was young John Daly.
I was just going to say this. So that's where the young John Daly come from. Pro under the name Young John Daly.
Yeah. And I just wanted to get in the top in the old pro game. And at the end of as I said, the only thing with me would have been a bit of an Irish in me, Sean. I'd done the training and everything, had the fights, and then I'd probably wanted 1 or 2 points, and it led to more. The blood, it just led to more. Having more, and you couldn't do it, and then you thought, I'll leave the training for another week, and then another weekend having a few points. And it, as I said, from experience now, I wouldn't even have my amateur boxers having a point, never mind about pros.
Yeah. So when you turned pro, who did you turn pro with?
Jim Wellard. It's Jim Wellard, but in his day it was Jim Wellard. I think he boxed under.
Wellard, yeah.
And he boxed, his world title fights. He boxed down at Franklin's Gardens in his day. But Jim Wellard wanted me, you know, and that's when John Cullen was pro, John Cox pro, Colin Ward pro. That was the time, you know. I think you come in the later time, Sean.
Well, I was just going to say there, when you mentioned Jim Wellard, one of my first ever memories of going to the Garibaldi gym was yourself, John Faulkner, Danny Myers,
Yeah.
Dave Cox, Jim Wellard would always be in the mirror sorting his
Yeah.
hair out.
Yeah. He'd be sorting his hair out when he was on the pads with you. If he had time, he had his shirt and tie on, he'd be on the pads, and then he'd have to look in that mirror to see if his hair was okay. You know what I mean?
Jim was a character, wasn't he?
Jim was a character, but I loved Jim Wellard. I loved him, you know, and that's what I'm saying. In boxing, if you get on with somebody, to me, it don't matter, you know. But characters like that, you know, I loved it. And old Jim, very, you know, I'll always remember he had he used to come up. We used to train somewhere like at Cliftonville School at one time in the amateurs. Joe Cascalis, he brought like a Spaniard with him, and old Jim would come in with a suit on. And just look about, he was a right poser, and just timing Joe Cascalis, just timing him and that. But again, he just had to have a quick look in the mirror to see if he looked right every time.
Yeah,
that's how I knew Joe. Yeah, and when he took me on as a manager, I loved that because he had a big name for himself in the boxing.
Busy lad fighting.
Yeah,
Jim was, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, Eric Boom. He was brought Arthur Danhart. It was in them era of boxing, Jim. And you know, he was a top man. He was a top man in the boxing. And when he told me about his left hook, he's always showed me how to throw the left hook all the time. Left hook. Yeah. He said, I was the best in the world, not just Britain. You know, again, he'd tell me that little story, but I had a quick look in the mirror. You know, lovely man.
That was
man.
Jim, yeah.
Yeah.
So you went with Jim Wellard. Where was the gym? Was it at Garibaldi?
Yeah, at first it was at St Patrick's Club.
Yeah.
By the cathedral. I started up there. Again, I'd got the key to it as well. And when we finished there, training sessions all the time, I used to go home. I was only home half an hour. And Jim didn't know this, but I used to go back up there and go straight back on the bags again. I was just mad on it. And it was. And then the Garibaldi. I remember, the Garibaldi. That was all out one night. You know, in the boxing game, and the landlord then. The landlord, he talked about it, and then we got a room at the Garibaldi, up the stairs.
But it was an old bedroom.
An old bedroom, as you said, it was out there. And I'll always remember the small ring. It had 3 punch bags, probably 2 punch bags, right? 2 punch bags, and the ring, right? No water, cold water. The windows were frozen up.
Cracked.
You went up there, and you went up them steps, and when you got to open that door, there's the ring and there's the bag. Where else are you going to do? If you don't want to box, don't go up them stairs.
That's right,
And don't go in that. Don't go nowhere near there if you can't box. And you went up there, and when I'm saying, if you ain't got the heart to do it, don't go up the Garibaldi. But the people who went up there, John Cox was the coach then. At one time, he did look after me in the last couple of fights. And he was coach then. I'll always remember, and you got in there was no messing about. Hard training, and it stuck with me all along.
Bloody hard sparring.
Hard training, sparring. They had blokes there from Peterborough.
Yeah.
Good sparring. Lenny Gloucester.
Yeah.
Very good sparring. I remember a few lads, Cole Morley, a few lads who come up to spar with me. Tough sparring. Where's the showers, John? Showers?
Showers?
You
What
joking?
showers?
What showers? There's your. You won't. If you could turn that tap on that sink.
Yeah.
If it ain't frozen, there's the little water. If you got it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's old school. And then you got. That's what I'm saying. If you don't want to, boxing's an hard game. So that's where we're doing a hard training.
Do you remember the smell?
Yes.
On them stairs?
Yeah.
Weren't it just beautiful?
Yeah.
Because you could smell blood, sawdust, and leather gloves.
Yeah.
It was the most beautiful smell, wasn't it?
And that's all I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying about old school. You know, when people come up to this boxing club now, it's high ceiling, it's high. They ain't got a clue. I do, it's Park Cotton, it's their club, but I like a small little room with 8 boxers in who want it. And if you want to smell boxing like the Garibaldi, you could smell it. And people are thinking, what are you on about smelling? You know, I don't know whether you can, Sean, can smell this club. It's too high, it's too big, 20 odd years. But in the Garibaldi, you smelt it. And it was and if you couldn't box, it was a, what's that word called? Frightening smell.
Yeah.
But it's a good smell if you want it.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, it was
if
an
you want it,
encouraging smell.
an encouraging, yeah.
Yeah.
If you,
And like you say, it was that small.
yeah.
Do you remember the mattresses on the wall? Stop
Yeah.
you smashing your heads on
Yeah,
the wall.
yeah.
But they couldn't put one by the windows. You just go straight through the
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, straight through the windows. You messed it. Yeah.
And John used to have the old nuts and bolts along the window ledge to see how many rounds
Yeah.
had sparred.
Yeah.
He'd push one along every round,
Yeah,
didn't he?
yeah,
Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Oh, what a
yeah,
brilliant
yeah.
gym.
But the mattress, as I said, I'll always remember the mattress. Yeah, if you've been caught with a good punch, you hit the mattress. Now, as I said, it's a tough game.
Yeah.
And as I said, and it's a tough game. If you want to get in that ring, this is what the people don't realise about now, do they?
Be prepared.
Be prepared. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many pro fights, John?
Again, you're going to say probably 25.
Yeah.
25.
And when you finished boxing pro, like, why did you finish boxing? Like, how did it?
Well, I worked. I had a mortgage on a house. I got me couple of kids then. I've got 4 beautiful daughters now. Two girls probably, and you've got a mortgage. If you've got a mortgage on your house at Kingthorpe, if you've got a mortgage, you've got to work. It's a chain. This is what I like about Ben and Cole Fail. They're not in no work.
So you got your mortgage through the boxing? The boxing more or less got your mortgage?
Not really. I had to work, Sean.
You work, well, this is what most fighters have to do.
Yeah, and I was working, I mean this, I was working, I was a good worker, I was ground working or tarmacking, but a lot of it was ground working. And the times, Sean, I just got to tell you, the times I used to do all the good days' work, I had to be at that gym for 6
So
o'clock.
after you run in the morning?
Run in the morning, work, got to be at the gym for 6. I'm the van driver as well, I'm dropping everybody off. And I've gone up them steps I'm going back to that little Garibaldi again. I've gone up them steps, and Coxey said to me, "Where are you been?" Right, you know, I don't want, you know, where the fucking are you been? Look at you been. I've worked all day. I'm not told him this, but I've worked. He knows that. I've worked all day. I've dropped everybody off. Where you been, probably, John? I'm not doing what you're doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, within 5 minutes after doing that, day 9, I've got the head guard on, and I'm having a fight in there. I'm in there sparring. And I've got to spell well, I've got to spar, you know what I mean? You're in a fight in the first half a minute.
Yeah.
Would they do that now?
No.
No.
Cool, no. I can remember watching some of your spars up there as a kid. I used to think, fucking hell.
Yeah.
This is serious up here.
Yeah.
The first few times I went up there, the likes of Danny Myers, yourself,
Yeah.
John Faulkner was a class leader.
Yeah, classy, good lad, yeah.
I used to look up to you lot and think,
Yeah.
oh, I've got a long way to go to get to there.
Yeah. Colin Ward done some sparring.
Colin, yeah.
Colin was up there at one time.
Great fighter.
Yeah, good, very tidy fighter, yeah.
There has been some great talent come out of this town, and I think it's only with trainers like yourself who have been there, done everything. It's only trainers like yourself, John, that can advise kids now, because you know we get a lot of coaches who've never boxed and they don't really understand the logistical path of boxing as a proper fighter does.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So, you know, but you being here now, and experience you've got and what you're giving to all the kids here, it's got to be like one of the most satisfying feelings for you.
Yeah.
Like the transition from actually doing it to producing champions yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know, Northampton's had some great talent, and you're just magnifying it all at the minute, you know, with the work you've done here for the kids, and not just in their boxing, John, but in their lives, do you know what I mean? As human beings, you've helped a lot of people, and you know, like, don't really think you realise how many you've helped. Even the kids what come here and just flit around the edges of the sport. you've still helped them. You still
Yeah.
change their train of thoughts. You still give them a little bit of discipline, give them a little bit of
Yeah.
routine advice or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Going back to Sean, what the question you asked me a question just then, and then I went on to the I can't remember. I'd done I went back to the Garibaldi, but so it was the work. I had to work in the day. I worked and then I trained.
Got your mortgage.
With the pros now. I'm not saying if you've got sponsors, if you've got sponsors, you're all right. Ben and Carl are doing well. And that's why I had lads who turned pro, but they had to work in the day. That was my downfall. I had to work, but if you want to get to the top, you've got to sort of train in the day.
Yeah.
If you want to get to a British title level, you've got to train in the day, do the right sparring, and go different clubs for sparring. But you can't.
And have the correct rest as well, John.
Yeah.
Because with a job, you can't have the right rest.
No, because as I said, I'm working every day, and that was all there is to it. I couldn't have no time off for training.
Yeah.
It was a gym at night, training day, and then the gym at night, and that's just
hard work.
It was hard work, but I'd have to sort of, if I was doing it now, I'd have to think if I wanted to get to the top, you can't do it without the people behind you.
You need the sponsors, you need support. And it's just great that now, John, you can give all of this advice to up and coming fighters. Where a lot of coaches don't really understand the logistics of that because they've never had to do it themselves. Do you know what I mean?
No.
But so, what's your best memories of your pro career, John? The best memories. Like what stands out for you?
Yeah, as the pros, definitely going down to Caesar's Palace, Luton, and whether you thought I was going to say America then, but it was Luton. And there were some dinner shows.
Off to Vegas.
Yeah, John. I remember John Conte being there at, on one of the tables, watching the boxing. Frank Carson, who was a comedian, the Irish comedian, he was watching the boxing. I'd be on them shows. It was just, it was nice to have a lot from Northampton going to Luton to watch me. It was dinner shows, sold loads of tickets. They'd sit and watch the boxing. I'd be on first probably. It was just the atmosphere, everything about it, the weighing in at the Park Hotel. I had to go and weigh in at the Park Hotel. And
did Winston do the weigh-ins back then?
Yeah, Winston Hughes, absolutely, things I had to do before I went boxing. I'll always remember going to Winston Hughes' house, Palmerston Road. He used to do the
number 11.
Gum shield, make the gum shields for all the boxers. And I used to go there, and I used to have 2 raw eggs. Couldn't stand, I had raw eggs anyway if I was, but I had to get used to them. And I still don't know, and you'll tell me now, what did them 2 raw eggs do for me? I still don't know now.
Whatever did they do?
But I had to have them, and I remember doing like gulping them, but Winston, people like Winston, if he told you to do it, you do it.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a wise old man.
Yeah, so all them, boxing, I'd go down London with Jim in the day, he'd have his Margaret, I think he was driving down there. I loved going to the shows. I loved before I had to go on the old famous Thomas à Becket.
Yeah.
So I had to go and have a sparring session to see if I was good enough to turn pro. Things like, I'd go in the Thomas à Becket and go in the doors, and there was a glass case up there, and it had the gloves on where Ali fought Henry Cooper. And it got the cut glove on there in a glass case. I remember going up the steps then. I looked, little things going up the steps. Had my sparring session. And before, because you're boxing, before done my sparring session. And then Alan Minter was on the speedball. Bah, 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 bah. And Doug Bigwell come out and went mad at him. Said, Alan, you finished your training now, get here. And that was just before the 3rd fight with Kevin Finnegan.
They were great fights.
So if they were good fights, but little things like that, and I know, the Thomas à Becket, the old famous Thomas à Becket is not here now, but little things, like that in the game now, and when I see people my age or older than me, when I go to shows, I talk about the Thomas of Beckett, and it's just nice to think they knew who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Alan Minter.
Yeah.
Some of these boxers now, they don't know, does me head in when they don't know people like Foster and Dave Boy Green, Tony Simpson, Lester. They were the boxers.
Great fighters.
You know, they got stuck in, they didn't mess about. You know.
The Chris Pyatts, the Sibbos.
Chris Pyatts, that's why I meant to say Chris Pyatt.
Oh, me and him used to have some
Yeah.
great spars. He used to absolutely ruin me.
Yeah, yeah.
Ruin me. But that's where we learn.
That's where you learn. John H. Tracy
Great
was
fighter.
in Stepney not so long ago,
Yeah.
walking through Stepney. Charlie Magray. So I was walking through Stepney, said to Ben and Carl, "Oh, Charlie, this is where we were from, Stepney, or the world champion I just mentioned." And they said, "No, we don't know him."
Well, Charlie used to have a title boxing shop
Yeah,
just
that's
round
right.
from
Yeah.
Bethnal Green.
Him and Denny Mancini was good friends, weren't they?
Yeah.
Denny was a good, yeah. And John H. Tracy, as I said, from Stepney, and the Fails didn't know. So that, I never spoke to him the rest of the day. It does like, when all these old time fighters, they were good lads, and I like, you know, that, as I said, it's all changed. I'm not saying it's all changed, because Ben and Carl are good fighters.
Great
they
kids.
want to win. You know,
Yeah, great
good
kids.
and all, you know. So at the end, it's yeah. I just look, yeah. Thinking about the old pro game, the lads, and if I go anywhere, it's just nice to talk to them again.
Yeah.
You
Just
know.
reconnecting and
First fight, Kevin Sheehan, bless him, Kevin Sheehan, went to my first amateur show down in Birmingham, and I started talking to him. He said, "What's your name?" He said, "You had my first pro fight against you," he said. And bless him, it was this Kevin Sheehan. And I thought, oh, that was brilliant.
it's great, isn't it?
Great, you know, and then bless him, he's just passed away, bless him, I don't, you know, but all through the amateur, you know, the years fly, don't they, Sean?
Yeah, yeah. And this
22
is what
years, 22 years been here, people like that, and it's, you know, when you go to shows, every time you go to them and you see people, it's lovely to talk
Yeah,
to them about the old time fights
yeah.
and about boxing today.
Definitely, and it just rubber stamps the love we've got for the sport. It's like them connections are just they're lifelong.
Yeah,
They're lifelong. You know, the bonds you make with fighters, different bonds. They last a lot longer.
yeah,
It's not like a footballer meeting a footballer. When a kid fights a kid, you bond. Like it's
yeah.
So life after boxing, John. How was life after boxing? Did you go back to work and just stay at work?
Yeah, worked sort of, I had to.
Well,
When I say had to, Sean, when you got kids and a mortgage, and I'm a worker,
yeah.
I had a hard job to have a bank holiday Monday off. I'm a worker.
Oh, well,
I
we
used to
worked
pay-
together, John.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
worked together, so I know
Yeah.
you was a grafter. I know how hard.
Yeah,
You know yourself. I never used to like weekends. All you lads would be out working all weekend.
yeah,
You know, I was too wild to work back
yeah,
then weekends.
yeah. So yeah, work come first, and I was work, and earning money, and that's it really.
And just living like
Living nicely, going on holiday now and again with the family.
yeah,
But it was, I was a bit too, even when I come home from work, I'd be cutting the lawn at home in the garden, I've got to work, I've got to do things. And I still kept myself fit.
yeah,
I still kept, a bit of running,
yeah.
a bit of running. Weren't interested in going out in the week at all, Sean, not at all. And after work and that, but weekends, the only trouble with me, again, I like to point.
Yeah.
And I say, again, if people's listening, I didn't have a problem with drink, but I like to point. And I thought, everybody in Northampton should be out on a Saturday night.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was my, but now I've got the club, and now I've realised it ain't all about going out weekends.
No.
It's not. Nowadays, the best place is with your family.
Yeah, definitely.
Family
Family's
comes
where the
first.
strength's at. Yeah.
Defo, not, yeah.
But John, after one of your nights out drinking, there was a totally unprovoked attack
Yeah.
where you nearly passed away, you nearly died.
Yeah.
You got through that against all the odds, against every single odd
Yeah.
given, you went against all that and got
Yeah.
through. So, from that situation there, boxing's given you a totally new lease of life.
Yeah.
So, you recovered from the incident
Yeah.
and started just gradually building Far Cotton Boxing Club. And you're a native of Far Cotton. Something I think what should never, ever, ever be disregarded of what you've done for this area. Not just the area, John, but the kids in it. And not just in this area, from all over, every kid that comes to this gym. So you've came to Far Cotton Community Centre, more or less.
Yeah.
Youth club.
Yeah.
And it was used mostly for football and
Yeah.
table tennis and bits
Yeah.
and bobs.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you from coming here to turn it into a boxing gym?
Yeah, I've probably been here, I was here for 2 years. 2 years, and they used to have little kids, school kids used to come in here, people used to teach the kids and whatever. And I was just going up one time, I was heading towards the cemetery one time to see my brothers and sisters. And I thought, I wonder if you know, could I, you know, I was sort of getting a bit better. And I thought, I wonder if they would let me hire this place a couple of nights a week for boxing. I come in here, spoke to the bloke, Tony Brogan, and he said, yeah, of course you can. Told me the price of it. So I said, is it all right to have 3 nights a week? He said, yeah. Started coming in, and it was, but at the end, as I said, they had kids and that playing in here, but once they was out, and we had a time we could hire the place, I put the brackets up, put the punch bags up, made the ring. We only had the one ring at the time, and we just made the ring, put the mat out, and I was here 3 nights doing everything, getting everything all together, and everybody was out. You know, people knew I was going to start the boxing club here. I'm getting young lads when he started coming in and out the gym, when he was starting. And once I had the opening night, everybody knew about that then. And outside here, the boxing club, the grass was as high as anything. Everything's all high, it's all rubbish. And I just started 3 nights, as I said, 3 nights a week. And then whatever gone on with the teachers out here and whatever, nobody were moaning, we didn't interfere with nothing. But they would talk about then might be packing it all in. And whatever they want to do, just do what you got to do. I'm okay, 3 nights a week here. And at the end, they just sort of drifted away. And next thing they weren't, after 2 years being, they weren't doing anything, so they finished. And I thought, oh. And I asked the council, whatever I did, can I have the boxing club? Not only boxing, I'll have, keep fitters, if they want to use the gym for keep fit, or table tennis in there, they want a television room. Anybody who can come and use the gym.
Yeah.
It's not just boxing, do whatever you want to do. And at the end, it was everybody just come in and wanted to just box. And then I had runners sometimes going outside running if they want to run.
Yeah.
But the keep fit sessions, it was so, on a Tuesday and Thursday nights then I brought it in, keep fit sessions, women and girls, women and men coming here on a Tuesday and Thursday night. That was packed, so it weren't just boxing, everybody was keep fit. It got so well known, it was so, it weren't just about boxing.
Nah.
To me, it is for my boxers, but
to everyone else.
To everybody else, it doesn't like now. But so it gets packed. So I sort of took it over, and the boxing, keep fitters, and it's been like it ever since. I want the garden tidy, like I want tidy boxers, I want tidy keep fitters, I want discipline, yes please, no thank you. I want the grass cut out there, I want it cut out there, I want everything, and for 22 years I've had it.
You do it all yourself?
I'm doing it on myself, yeah. And I've done it. And it don't bother me, long as I've got that little smile, it don't bother me. Long as, you know, Sean, what's happening with my boys, they're all done well. The lad who was bullied at school, Ashley Lane, won a British title.
Yeah, cracker.
Things like that, it just gets ya. The people who's bullied at school are not bullied no more.
Yeah.
But any fighting outside there, don't come back in my gym again, but they can look after themselves.
Yeah.
And it's just lovely how every young kid comes here. It all brings the young 10-year-old now who comes in now. I can tell 4 good 10-year-olds who's boxing beautiful, who wants to box.
Yeah.
Just remind me of Nathan Reeve, not Ben and Carl. Nathan Reeve. The way they come in and they want to box, little Nate, and they come in and they do it, and I can see it. The other 4 will come in. They're not going to be boxers, but you're going to be you'll like it here than playing at home in your bedroom with your phones, whatever.
Yeah.
So you're better off up here in this boxing gym.
Yeah.
And just if you don't want to box, but the keep fit. You play football or rugby, the fitness
And
just
the discipline.
carry on. The discipline, can't beat it. Yes, please, and no, thank you. Somebody will come in and say, my boy's got ADH. Write your names down there. In, and they get in. It's boxing. Come in the gym. Not going to come on, my baby. None of that.
Yeah.
Gym.
Yeah. Work hard.
Yeah.
They're
not got ADH. Some have. No, you're in a boxing gym. No talking.
Yeah.
And they stop.
Yeah.
They stop with 20 odd people. They stop. And then that's it. It's
And they take that away with them.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, they're invaluable, priceless lessons in life. What only boxing can give.
Yeah, that's all I can. Yeah.
You don't get it in football. You don't get it in team sports. Very few individual sports give you the calm, confident, disciplined boxing gives.
Why on a Saturday morning, 5 to 10-year-olds, it's gone up to 5 to 14-year-olds now.
Yeah.
The mum and dads, how'd you get them not talking, John? He said, because it's a boxing gym.
They're just busy working.
And it's great. They are. They're all top. So you just said it about boxing, the discipline.
Yeah.
That's all it needs. Discipline. That's all it needs. And please, it'd be lovely if they had a boxing gym in every part of the town. Like Farcott and Kingsley, Kingswell. I know they got 4 gyms, but they need to be Blackthorpe. They used to need boxing gym. The discipline it brings.
Yeah.
I think they should. If they had it in schools, it'd be nice. But the only thing in schools, you need a top coach.
Yeah.
You need a boxing coach, not just a PE teacher. Because boxing's different. But the discipline, everything's discipline. It's about discipline. Yes, please, and no, thank you.
Yeah.
You can't beat somebody coming in. Hello, coach. Thank you, coach. Yes, please, and thank you.
Manners and respect.
Yes, lovely.
Yeah, and I think boxing breeds that.
Yeah, it does. It does.
If done properly, boxing breeds that.
If it does. Because any fighters go out the ring, if they want to cause... I never have it in Farcotton. If they go up there, they speak properly to everybody, and I don't want no fighting outside this gym. If I know you've done anything, you don't come back in.
Don't bother coming back.
Don't bother,
Yeah.
And again, you're safer, Sean, saying it, but you're safer in a boxing gym than you are in town centre.
Every day of the week.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay with the boxing, but I'm just going to wander off a little bit because not so many years ago, you stepped out of the boxing into a Strictly Come Dancing competition for the town. How did that come about, John?
Again, I got a phone call from the people who was organising the dancing, and it was to raise money for cancer for Spencer.
Cynthia Spencer.
Cynthia Spencer. There was a lot of, I've just got a phone call. Probably, I'm not saying I've got a name, but in boxing probably, or whatever I've done, they asked me, would I go and do the dancing? And I've never danced in my life. I've never danced. I've never, even at discos, I weren't a dancer. I'm not a dancer. I'm not interested. But as soon as I knew it was for Cynthia Spencer and it was for cancer research, would you be interested? So I did, because I've got my 4 daughters behind me. I just went up and I started, I had to learn to dance. I think I was up there twice a week or even once a week where they were teaching me. And I've never been dancing, and it was a bit, it ain't my cup of tea, but I want to do it because that cancer, it just come into it because my brother passed away with it, so I just wanted to, and I had to go there once a week and learn to dance, and at the end it was learning, but I'd rather be in a boxing club than I would be to learn to dance.
But the boxing must have helped.
Yeah.
It must have helped.
Yeah. The footwork.
Yeah.
And everybody says that, it's got to help you, but it's great. The coach there of the dancing team, he was great, having you all in and getting, you need a bit confidence. Yeah, the boxing again, that all got me, the confidence and that. So it was lovely. And we had the big competition, months, probably nearly a year probably 6 months learning to dance. And I was getting into it, the waltz, I had to learn to waltz, the quick step and doing all, the few of it, you get into it.
Yeah.
And when nobody's in this boxing club, and I've come from there the next day, I'm learning it on my own. And I even got a teacher up here one time to teach me a few little moves, like everybody else. They all want to win it.
Yeah.
Everybody was in it. The weather girl I remember from Anglia, I forgot her name now, but she's on the Anglia, she was in it. But it was good. It was, and I'd learned a bit of a dancing here, and I got better and better, and but definitely didn't think I was going to win it, right? So, but it was at Derngate. The final was at Derngate. We all went to Derngate. All the people who'd been learning to dance had to pull all the gear. Very, very nervous going into it, and you're nervous. It's at Derngate. It's packed out. Your families are there, but whoever wins, whoever does all the money, whoever phones in, and that's where the money, it all goes to cancer.
Yeah.
So the more you've got phone calls coming in, that's where you're going to win.
So it's exactly the same format, really, as what they do on the television.
Yeah.
That it's by phone votes, you get your position.
Yeah.
And you smashed it.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying smashed it. Yeah, I'll always remember that. We done the business, and then it come to they give the first three who's win, who's going to win in. So I thought, because one of my songs, whatever it has, I had to do a bit of shadow boxing with my cloak. I know it was a bit of a, when I say songs, a dance. So I'd done a little bit of shadow boxing, and I thought, where is she? She's supposed to be coming out now. She's the professional dancer. So I'm shadow boxing, and she's not out yet. She's not out. And then another 10 seconds later, she comes out, right? So we done that. We got over it. Because you got a bit. The timing's got to be right. You finish a dance, the music stops, but we were 10 seconds over. She really got upset afterwards because she knew it was her fault. She couldn't hear the bloke to tell her to come out. Anyway, we done the dancing and everything. And in third place, they give all the names out. And I thought, God, I'd love to have come third. And then they give the name, who's winning, who's second, who's first. And then the winner is John Daly and my partner, and we won it. So it's packed. Lovely. We won it. Getting all the attention, we won it. And why we won it, as I said, it was the phone calls. Yeah. The phone calls. The more phoning, the more people who phone in. And some of my boxers were boxing in Newcastle at the time. And of course, they knew I couldn't be then, and it broke my heart not to be with my boxers in the finals, the championships in Newcastle. And I was dancing in this final. It was just and at the end, the boxers said and the coaches, they were telling everybody in Newcastle to pick up the phone. You know what it's like. I'm getting everybody. Yeah.
Just getting international votes.
Yeah, I'm getting every so, and that's what won me it, because there was some very good dancers there, sure. And when I won it, I was like, oh. But as I said, long as it raised all the money to the right course, that was good enough. Yeah. Brilliant.
So, in your path, John, because through and through you're a boxing man.
Yeah.
Through and through. I think if they did cut your head open at the end of this fucking journey, all they're going to find is a boxing glove.
Yeah.
They're not going to find much else. But do you actually realise, John, yourself, do you ever take moments and you must have quiet times where you realise how many lives you've not just changed but touched and affected in a positive way through what you're doing here? Do you ever
No, it's the odd person tells me, you know, and I could see it. You know, when I leave here, like last night, I left here at 9:30 last night, I could see it sort of with the mums and dads. They know what I'm doing. Even with my daughter getting married weekend, I was here last night, I was on the pads, working on the pads with all boxers. Not only 1 or 2, but 4 or 5. I'm on the pads doing 3-minute rounds. And I know I'm doing, and when I leave, the mum, I know they must think, God, it's what he's doing. He must, you know, he's here he's with the youngsters. He's here. You know, you see him on the pads. He's working with them. He's working with them all the time. And now and again, you know, it's just once in, you know, I think, you know, it's like, you know, when you're asking me questions just then, what you just said. It's probably once in 22 years I've thought of that, what you just said.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, but I, and there's times, you know, like I said, the Saturday mornings when I see the youngsters, and I just told you about a 10-year-old, and I was thinking of him as Nathan Reeve. probably 2 years I've been here, and I remember all these young kids coming in, like Nathan, like Ashley.
As children.
Yeah, they're all coming in. And there's some coming in now just like them. And I've still got that face on me, there I want them to be like Nathan now, and Ben and Carl. I want them. And they, probably the mums and dads don't know this, that I've been here 20 odd years. People don't know what happened to me years ago.
Yeah.
People don't know. The mums and dads sit out there, they don't know. Some have been here 10 years looking at me, they don't know what happened, or, you know, but I ain't bothered with they do. But the life I've done, the life to come in here and do that, and you only just mentioned it about, do you get that? And I don't, only probably once in a blue moon, where I think, what am I doing? And what you just said, I might go home thinking of that, but then it'll go off my mind again, because I just want...
Too busy thinking about the next fighter.
Yeah.
You see, you've played a big part, John, in probably one of the greatest female fighters in history, Chantel Cameron. You're on a journey with Carl and Ben, the failed twins. You've gave Nathan Reeve, Ash Lane, total turnarounds in their life. Great kids through and through. You know, the part you've played in their careers, and you're still playing, like, surely you must think to yourself, like, I ain't done too bad here. You know, and we're probably sometimes the last people to give ourselves a pat on the back.
Yeah.
Because we always strive for bigger, better, you know, we always go for that high spot.
Yeah.
But I think you need to hear it yourself, John, from the fighters, do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's not said to you enough what you do for the kids here. Not just in their career, but in their lives, like how you've changed the way they live, the way they act, the way they talk, and their manners and respect levels you've generated through what you do here, you know what I mean? So, I think there's a couple of fighters here, John, just want to tell you themselves, to be honest. So, I'm not sure if you knew they were going to come, but if they want to come in, I'm sure they'll tell you what you've done from yourself, John. I know they're loitering out here somewhere.
No, I didn't know anybody was coming in.
I'll tell you to start with, John, we've got the undisputed welterweight champion of the world to come and say a few words for you.
Oh, God.
Chantel Cameron. We've got
oh, God. How are you? How are you doing? That's a prize.
How are you, mate?
Yeah,
right, Sharon. How are you doing, man? So,
oh, God, I didn't know these two were coming.
But, John, listen, this is just a couple, there's hundreds, hundreds, John, of
Yeah.
what you've done for these people, and you you don't take the time to realise that. But while you're both here, what does John mean to you two?
Oh, I love John. He's like a dad, another dad.
Yeah, I love him to bits. John was, shared a passion with us in boxing, and was just always there for us. It just meant the world to have him alongside us on that journey. And he, always did everything that he could for us. And wherever he went, he was always, talking about us. And it was just, it means the world.
So I hope you realise, John, just what you are doing and what you're giving to this sport.
Yeah.
And listen, the lives you've changed, like I say, John, is like you could never imagine. Because you haven't just changed the kids' lives, you've changed their parents' lives, their families' lives. Because you've made that kid a better kid.
Yeah.
And that's down to you. That's not their parenting. That's not their guidelines. That's you, John.
Yeah.
And I think you should take a little bit more time out just to pat yourself on the back, mate.
Yeah. I don't know if you two were listening to it, but like I've mentioned your name a few times.
You've been involved.
Like if you're talking about, I've got a little lad who comes in here now, a little 10-year-old little kid, and I don't mention the other two boys' names, that Ben and Carl, and I say, you're a little Nathan Reed. And I see this little 10-year-old, and I even now, when you come in, the little muscly went to the same place as Shan. And I know you're going to do the business like Chantal, you can see by a mile. But this 10-year-old, and I see him, and even now you just think of Ashley, who's going to do the business here and who's going to box, and straight away, I knew you were going to box straight away. Chantal, what a champion.
Yeah.
What it was like last week. I met this guy from the council, and I even told you this. He's going to be like deputy mayor, and he said to me, I was like, I'm going to go put down and see John Daly, and he turned around and said, before I even started boxing for England or nothing, he said he met John, and the first thing he said is, Chantal Cameron's going to become world champion. And he told me, and I was thinking, I never even heard it, and I was thinking, bloody hell, John, pressured him. I only just put a pair of gloves on. And I wasn't even there. I've literally only just put a pair of boxing gloves on because I still kickboxing. And the council guy told me, and I was thinking, never knew that. It was crazy.
John told me that years ago, Shan.
Yeah.
He mentioned that to me years ago.
Yeah.
But the visions, like your experience, John, in the sport yourself, you can see things way before the fighters can see things. And it's your nurturing and your guidelines and the way you implement them guidelines what makes a difference to their lives. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So commendable. So wow, just wow, John. First of all, you're a family man through and through.
Yeah.
But your family's extended to probably one of the biggest families any man could ever have. Really. Look, Chantel's come a long way today. I know Nathan's took a lot of time out to get here today.
Yeah.
A lot of others just couldn't get the time.
That was a surprise.
This is a little surprise for you, John, do you know what I mean? But here, is it really worth it? We just want to thank you for everything you do for the kids. We want to thank you for coming on the podcast. And we just want to say, just keep doing what you're doing, John. You're absolutely smashing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely smashing
it. I will do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Spot on.
John?
Spot on,
God bless you. Shan, thank you for coming. Nate, God bless you, man.
That's brilliant.
Okay?
Yeah, spot on. Good old boy.
My guy. Cheers, John, man. Right.
Thank you.
Reference
Steve,
Chantal
thank you.
Cameron shirt.
Is it?
Yeah.